going on the air from Florida with breaking news.
This is going to be jarring, shocking, and probably painful to see.
It is a devastating Category 4 storm.
My name is Diane Pisani of the Home Watch Academy, and I'm truly an educator and advocate, as well as what everybody on this panel is today. We're here to teach you things you don't know, because I believe that you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. I believe everything in life is kind of before, during, and after, so I would like to have the panelists tell us a little bit about preparation before the storm. And we're speaking both to the folks that are here year-round, but also our seasonal homeowners, so they know what to do.
You have to think about what happens after the storm before you get your head around what should happen before the storm. I've been doing this 22 years, and I've seen every flavor of disaster. And the common theme is homeowners and asset owners say, oh, I wish I had documented all of my personal belongings. I wish I would have documented the building so that someone doesn't say later that was pre-existing damage. So document your properties, document them frequently, document them before storm season. Have an accurate inventory of what you may or may not lose in a storm, because it's very hard to recreate that after a storm or after a fire or after a flood. You're way behind the eight ball when that happens. So that is the first and most important thing that I think should happen.
So some of the woulda, coulda, shouldas, do it in advance. Absolutely. Paul?
What I try to, teach our partners and property owners and business owners is every year we know hurricane season starts on June 1st. And so what I try to tell everybody is around June 1st, start documenting the things that you have, especially after we just had Hurricane Ian. You want to document repairs that you've had done. You want to document showing, if you haven't had the repairs done, how you're mitigating the damages. So if another hurricane hits, that you showed that you've tried to stop more damage from happening. So that is another big thing that I think needs to happen with the documentation process. Another big thing is, if you got an Excel spreadsheet, or get a spreadsheet. If you got some valuables in your house, you need to document, and it's called contents. You need to document that stuff, age, value, because if you get a storm, the insurance company is going to ask you for that stuff if you want to be reimbursed for it. A lot of people don't know that they get reimbursed for their contents and stuff. Harvey can go deeper into other stuff that you guys can get reimbursed for that a lot of people don't understand. But those are, some of the key things on, what happens after the storm. Another thing that I talk about after the storm is there's, some major things that you need to have done. And one, after a storm, if you've got leaks, you need someone to come and do tarping your roof or shrink wrap your roof. You've got debris removal companies that you've got to be able to partner with. And that's one of the things with storm consultants, we have those partners. Also, you need to make sure that you have a company like Ken's that does the protocols and does environmental testing, because if you have water intrusion, that's considered Category 3 water during a hurricane, and Ken will talk further on that. But that's another thing that you need to have done immediately after a storm. If you have water intrusion, you need to get an environmental test. And then you've got your restoration companies that are coming in and tearing out any wet drywall. But there's steps to that. And one of the steps is you've got to make sure that your property is properly dried in before someone starts doing testing and someone starts doing restoration work. And then finally, you have Harvey's team, which we're a part of, and we, help get you involved with Harvey to help you with your claims on your storm damage.
It's so important to get a good inventory, and the way to do it too, you need to do outside and inside, all your belongings, the structure, your roof, the fences. It's easy enough to just take your camera phone and go around your house and document everything. We're here kind of talking about hurricane claims, but you might have a fire or a flood or something else that actually destroys your belongings, and you need to have documentation to prove that you actually had those. Another thing that I would add when it comes to contents is a lot of people think that, let's say their policy limit is $350,000, and they have a nice, wedding ring or diamond ring and a Rolex and all this other stuff, and they think, okay, well, I have $300,000 or $350,000 in policy limits. But a lot of times they'll have a certain exclusion for art or jewelry or things like that. So if you have things like that, you need to make sure you document them and talk to your insurance company. They might charge you a little bit more in premiums, but then you'll be covered in case you lose your diamond ring or, you know, you lose everything in a fire or something like that. So the before part in basics is, you know, inventory. The other thing that I would say the before part is that you need to check your own insurance policy. What's in there? Did you review it? Have you talked to any, you know, professionals about what you should have or what you might have? We've seen cases before where we come into a claim where there's $50 million in coverage and there's only $10,000 in mold coverage. And so what happens in those cases is if you hire the wrong experts and don't, you know, hire like a team of people that kind of write roadmaps for each other, is somebody might come in and say, okay, well, we need to do $1 million worth of mold remediation. And the insurance company is going to say, we agree 100%. Here's $10,000. That's all you're going to get. And so that's why it's important to know what is in your policy. And that's the before part.
You can't talk about before without talking about insurance policies. When people are doing their property condition report, even getting serial numbers on their appliances is a good idea. And for the seasonal people that are out there, I can't not address this. Empty your refrigerators, people. You know, empty the refrigerators. You're not going to use that food 6 months later when you come back, and a lot of damage can happen. There could be a ton of contamination if there's food left. And if you have a good home watch, certified home watch reporter, they'll take care of that. And you can also ask your home watcher to do a condition report.